A man named Fabio is sitting across from Don Luis, his powerful boss and a ruthless drug lord. Calmly, Fabio informs him that he's quitting the cartel and has already handed over all the bookkeeping to someone else. Don Luis smiles, raises his glass, and toasts to Fabio's life. But as Fabio walks out, Don Luis gives a silent nod to Marco, his most trusted enforcer. Fabio isn't naive. He knows no one leaves the cartel without consequences. He gathers the 3 guards still loyal to him and rushes home. Time is against them. He estimates they have barely an hour to flee the country. Once home, he tells his wife, Alicia, it's time. He turns to his daughter, Catalea, and tells her to pack quickly. She responds, already prepared. Fabio hands her a microchip, warning that if anything happens, she must reach the American embassy and give it to them. The chip contains everything, Don Luis's darkest secrets. He also gives her an address, his brother's. As a final gesture, he removes his necklace, a pendant shaped like the Catalea orchid, and places it around her neck. She was named after the flower, which her grandmother once grew with pride. Moments later, Marco and his men storm the house. Gunfire breaks out. Fabio and Alicia try to hold them off, but are gunned down off-screen. Catalea, paralyzed by fear, listens from the table. Acting quickly, she swallows the microchip. Marco enters and pretends to be sympathetic, claiming he was her father's friend and only wants what Fabio took, the chip. But Catalea isn't fooled. She leans forward and slams a knife through his hand. Then she leaps through a window and escapes onto a ledge. Trained for survival, she races across rooftops while cartel goons chase her. Despite them having motorcycles, cars, and even parkour runners, she slips away into the sewers. She climbs through a manhole, emerging near the U.S. Embassy. Inside, a stunned official asks her about her father. He's dead, she replies. When asked if he left anything behind, she makes herself throw up, revealing the microchip. The agent, shocked, asks if she knows what she just handed over. My passport, Catalea answers. In return for the data, she's granted political asylum. She's escorted to a plane bound for Miami by a CIA agent, but mid-journey, she fakes a bathroom break and vanishes out the window. She buys a bus ticket to Chicago, the place her father told her to go. In a rough neighborhood, she finds a man named Emilio, her uncle. When he opens the door and sees her, he's speechless. Then, he hugs her tightly as Catalea breaks down in tears for the first time. The next morning, Emilio brings her to a private school. He bribes the principal to enroll her immediately. On their way out, Catalea is visibly upset. She argues, claiming school is useless. She needs to learn how to kill. Emilio suddenly pulls a revolver and fires at a passing car, causing it to crash. Then he turns to her and says, killers are everywhere, and they don't last long. If you want to be smart about this, go to school. Learn how people think. Catalea, listening carefully, takes his words to heart. Years later, present day, 2 cops are joking in their cruiser when they're rear-ended by a drunk driver. A dazed woman stumbles out, muttering nonsense. They arrest her and notice the flower necklace. It's Catalea, now grown. At the station, she's booked for DUI and locked up for the night. But the arrest was a setup. That night, U.S. Marshals escort a high-profile prisoner into the jail. Catalea wakes up. Her DUI was a ruse. This prisoner is her target. Quietly, she changes into a tight black suit hidden under her clothes. She picks the lock using a spoon from her coffee cup. She swivels the security camera away and heads to the electrical room. With clever wiring, she causes a power outage by shorting the system with water. As the lights go out, she crawls through the air ducts and drops into the restroom. When the power returns, a cop leaves the prisoner's room to get coffee. Inside the bathroom, Catalea knocks him out. She places his body in front of the camera so the cell door reopens. She walks in, wakes the prisoner, and tells him to unbutton his shirt. Confused, he asks why. She answers by shooting him, multiple times. The guards race in and see the unconscious officer holding the weapon, effectively framing him. Catalea buys time to escape. She climbs to the roof, avoids capture, and sneaks back into the air ducts. Returning to her cell, she slips into her clothes and lies down. When the marshals check on her, she's pretending to sleep. The next morning, she's released. At the exit, she peels fake latex from her fingers. The fingerprints were never hers. She returns home, dances to music, and takes a long shower. Later, she visits Danny, a painter who thinks her name is Jennifer. They spend the night together. The next morning, she leaves without a word. Meanwhile, FBI agent Ross investigates the murder. The corpse bears the signature Catalea flower, the 22nd such case in 4 years. The CIA sends Agent Richard to confront Don Luis, now living in a lavish New Orleans villa under witness protection. Richard shows him the latest hit. Don Luis denies involvement, but it's clear he knows the truth. After Richard leaves, Don Luis turns to Marco. It's time to end what they started. She rests on his bed, clutching his shirt close to her chest. Her emotions are clear. She deeply cares for him, but fear keeps her from fully opening up. Elsewhere, Agent Ross inspects a calling card left by the tag killer. The mailman unknowingly delivers a breakthrough clue, a Cattleya flower, which only grows in Colombia. Ross tries to link it to any open Colombian cases, but he hits a wall. It's under CIA jurisdiction. He reaches out to Richard for clearance, but Richard dodges the request. Instead, Richard contacts Luis and warns him to fix the situation before Ross starts putting the pieces together. Luis dispatches Marco to hunt Cattleya down, instructing him to interrogate every Colombian until they uncover a lead to her family. Meanwhile, Danny returns home to find that Cattleya has brought dinner. Overcome with happiness, he kisses her. She responds, but Danny pauses, wanting to enjoy the moment with dinner and conversation first. That night, they share another intimate moment. The next day, Danny snaps a quick photo of Cattleya while she sleeps. He gently wakes her with food, playfully calling it lunch instead of breakfast. But her mood shifts. Panic creeps in. She tells him she's overstepped and must go. Danny is left stunned, unsure of what went wrong. Cattleya meets with Emilio, who is furious after reading the paper. Her violent trail hasn't stopped. 8 people were just gunned down in a bar, one being his friend. He pleads with her to stop. It's no longer just about her. She's risking the safety of the only family she has left. Emilio reminds her that vengeance cost him dearly when he lost his son. It brought no peace, only more pain. He hands her a photo of her parents before leaving. Cattleya breaks down in tears. Later, Cattleya joins Emilio and her grandmother at church. There's a shift in her. Maybe she's ready to leave revenge behind. At a nearby coffee shop, Danny talks to a friend about his mysterious girlfriend, Jennifer. He confesses he's falling for her, despite knowing so little. His friend, impressed by her looks, secretly sends the photo to his sister-in-law at the police department to run a background check. Unaware of the chain reaction he's just triggered, Ross is at his computer when a match pings Cattleya's image. He traces the photo to a police database and has the technician arrested. Matching the image with jail footage confirms it. The woman he's been chasing is Cattleya. She returns to her apartment and calls Danny, trying to express her feelings. He mentions the photo, and she immediately panics, asking who else saw it. As he responds, she checks outside. SWAT is moving in. Cattleya turns on the shower as a decoy, then escapes through a ventilation shaft. She darts through neighboring apartments and ends up in one she had previously prepared. When the tenant protests, she knocks him out. Inside, she recovers a sniper rifle and a harness hidden in the bathroom. She places explosives on the wall. Just as agents blast through her apartment door, she uses the harness to slide down the building's pipes into the garage. Cattleya shoots out the security cameras and disappears into another air duct, escaping through the subway. She heads to Emilio's place, but the horror awaiting her is devastating. The home is wrecked. Pepe lies dead on the floor. Her grandmother is lifeless in the kitchen. She finds Emilio, tied to a chair, tortured and killed. Grief and rage consume her. She whispers a sorrowful goodbye. Later that night, Ross arrives home to find Cattleya waiting for him, armed and composed. She gestures for him to sit and reveals a pressure-sensitive explosive is rigged beneath his chair. She explains that the flower symbol wasn't for him. It was always meant to draw out Don Luis. Now, Luis has taken her final piece, her family. She demands Ross secure Luis's location from the CIA, or she'll make him suffer weekly, just as she has for years. She assures him that once she's gone, the bomb will deactivate, and it does. Ross confronts Richard and insists on answers. Richard refuses to budge. Just then, Ross receives a call. It's Cattleya. She warns that if she doesn't get the address, Richard will die. He laughs it off, boasting about his reinforced windows. A bullet shatters one, forcing him to give up the address. Ross pleads for his family's safety. Cattleya silently hangs up. She never intended to hurt them. Cattleya returns to Pepe's garage, gathering weapons. She spots the 2 dogs and gives them a look of grim understanding. Loading up in an armored truck, she heads to Don Luis's mansion. There, Marco is briefing the guards, stressing the danger she poses. Suddenly, a rocket explodes into the building. Luis narrowly survives as Marco scrambles to protect him. 4 guards rush to form a convoy, but Cattleya crashes through in her truck, obliterating their vehicle. She leaps out and mows them down with bullets. In a tense firefight, She eliminates Luis's men one by one. Marco hides Luis in a safe room and tries to stop her himself. The two face off after most of the resistance is gone. Cattleya kills Marco's last ally and then battles Marco hand to hand. They trade blows and weapons, fighting with raw intensity. At one point, Cattleya grabs a towel, trying to strangle him. Marco snatches her gun and tries to fire, but she ejects the magazine, rips off the slide, and stabs him in the neck with it. Now alone, Luis creeps out of the panic room, thinking he's safe. He flees in a van, only to find a garbage truck blocking the road. His phone rings. It's Cattleya using Marco's cell. He mocks her, saying she'll never catch him. Then, he turns and sees her dogs waiting. They maul him, bringing her long journey of vengeance to an end. Back at the FBI, Danny is questioned. He knows little and insists he's innocent. Ross believes him, but warns there are still questions to answer. Suddenly, Danny's phone rings. It's Cattleya. She tells him she's safe, and they have 40 seconds before the call gets traced. He uses the moment to ask 3 questions. First, her real name, Cattleya. Second, will his little bird ever return? She says, maybe, someday. An agent alerts Ross that the call is live. They storm the room, but before Ross can grab the phone, Cattleya says, "I love you," and hangs up. Ross hands the phone back and tells Danny he's free to go. As the story closes, Cattleya, in dark sunglasses, boards a bus to an unknown destination. Her mission is complete. Her heart, scarred but beating, carries her forward. End the movie. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other recaps and subscribe for more content. And leave comment below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.